This video is proudly sponsored by EA. A massive thank you to them for letting me play F1 2021 early and providing you with this content. Before we jump into this video, I want to say a big thank you to Justin, Leon and Horak for subscribing to the channel. If you want to be featured in this little intro, make sure you get subscribed down below. Last quick announcement before we jump into this video. Editing it back, I've realised it's an hour and 10 minutes long. So I'll be honest, for those of you guys that have come from our F1 2020 My Team Career Mode, I would probably say skip through it and use the timestamps down below. Obviously, if you want to watch all the customization and stuff like that, fair enough. But a lot of it is very, very similar to F1 2020. So obviously, for those of you guys, if you want to just head to the Bahrain Grand Prix, timestamps down below. Thought, you know, for those of you that want to learn some tips and tricks though, there's definitely a lot of useful things in the first bit of this video. But yeah, I hope you guys still enjoy nonetheless. Hello everyone, and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here with F1 2021, the start of our new My Team Career Mode. Of course, we had so much fun with F1 2020's My Team Career Mode. Of course, we had to jump back in with it here on F1 2021. But a massive thank you to all of you guys for the continued support on the channel. Obviously, if it weren't for you guys clicking these videos, subscribing to the channel, and watching all the content, you know, we wouldn't be able to play F1 2021 early. So again, obviously, a massive thank you to you guys. A massive thank you as well, of course, to EA and Codemasters for allowing me to provide you guys more early footage. You know, today is where we get into it. I've got a lot of videos planned, I'll be honest. Over the next few weeks, we're really going to dive into a lot of cool stuff on F1 2021. So obviously, if you aren't already, make sure you get yourselves subscribed. We're trying to hit 20,000 subscribers over the coming months as well there. So if you can help us get one step closer, it would be greatly, greatly appreciated. As well, if this video hits 100 likes, I will upload the second episode tonight as well. I've got it all ready to go, or I will have it all ready to go by the time this video goes live. And yeah, if you get 100 likes on this one, I'll drop the next one as well this evening. Otherwise, it will go live tomorrow as well. So a bit of an extra incentive for you guys as well there. But let's dive in to My Team here on 2021. Obviously, if you guys just want to get into certain things, I'll leave timestamps down below for everything over the course of this video. You know, if you just want to skip through either like all the admin, you just want to watch the race, I never know exactly, but yeah, there will be timestamps down below as well. Of course, this video is probably going to be quite a long one here as well. Go back and check out the Breaking Point video we did at the end of last week there. Would highly, highly recommend going back and seeing that one as well. But a lot of stuff to get out of the way before we dive into it then. But here we are. My Team. Play as the owner and the driver of your own team. Design and manage your team and take them to the top of the Constructors' Championship. Of course, we're going to be rolling a full Formula 1 season. Use the full F1 calendar of events. We're going to keep it normal for this first season as well. Of course, looking at the settings, of course, we'll customize a couple of things. Of course, I run no settings on any of the F1 games. You guys know that by now as well. Of course, weekend structure is we've got full qualifying, full practice, and of course a 50% race as well. Of course, that's so a long weekend. They're not quite full. We're not going to dive into 100% races just yet here on F1 2021 as well. Of course, time and day and weather, everything like that, of course, is we're going to roll approximate on the forecast just so we've got a little bit of extra spice in it as well. Of course, ready for this game. Career settings as well. Obviously, a lot to change around here. Of course, we'll be meeting the press. We'll be doing the standard amount of department events, facility management and R&D management, of course, on. Team Acclaim we're going to leave on default, I'll be honest, for this first season. But we are going to change a few things down below. Player faults we are definitely going to have on standard. We don't, you know, I always thought it was a bit annoying, you know, for those of you guys that watched our 2020 career mode, the fact the AI could have part failures and we couldn't, I thought was a little bit annoying there. We'll also run standard technical faults as well. No, we'll go high, so mechanical failures will be enabled as well there. So there is a real chance, you know, the car might go bang in the opening races of this series as well. Of course, all rules and flags, everything like that. A regular corner cutting, parc fermé on, a safety car on as well. We'll roll with increase. We'll see how it goes early on there, but I don't bother with the formation lap anymore. on F1 as well. They're in simulation settings, of course. AI, we run Ultimate. We normally run between about 102 and 105. I know you guys always sort of wonder about that. So I'm going to put it on 102 to begin with, just so we know how we're going to be able to do as well. I leave flashbacks on just in case we get any issues with the game as well, so we can avoid stuff like that. Standard damage, we won't run simulation just yet. We'll run hard fuel saving mode as well, of course. Their race starts manual, collisions on, of course, and then full tyres and everything like that. So there's all our settings ready as well. We're running quite immersive, I think, but, you know, I think a lot of sort of normal career mode guys will do this as well. And, of course, using the My Team icons. Now, I did think about putting a legend alongside us in the team, but I've decided we're going to roll, we're going to do sort of like a bit more old school, you know, we're going to try and bring up a Formula 2 driver as well. You know, I think hiring someone like Ayrton Senna or Michael Schumacher is a bit unrealistic as well. Of course, I completely understand for a lot of you guys it's something that you'll love to do as well there. But for me, we're going to be jumping in and we're going to be picking up a F2 driver as well, of course. But let's dive into it then. Start our career mode here on F1 2021, of course. My Team, do you want the challenge of entering into Formula 1 as a new team? My Team will allow you to start from scratch as the 11th team on the grid, building up your team in order to create a lasting legacy. Being both the owner and driver will have a unique set of challenges you'll have to perform both on track and behind the scene. So, in the original edit for this video, I thought it would be a good idea, for whatever reason, to let you guys watch for 10 minutes as I try and change the settings, you know, with our driver and our team colours and everything like that. So I'm going to quickly fly through that in the background. I just want to give a couple of final shout-outs, of course. A massive, massive thank you to Atsy for, as always, making the incredible thumbnails for all of these, you know, career mode style videos that we've got on the channel. You know, he's been putting in tireless work in recent weeks. And obviously, if you're a content creator as well and you need some good career mode thumbnails, there's a link to him down in the description below. Really, really good guy. Always really just brilliant work, and I'm not the best at explaining as to what I want from these sorts of things as well. So yeah, a massive thank you to him and obviously on the channel.
Some kind of income stream is critical, so we need to sign a primary sponsor.
Right, let's have a look then.
The sponsor will pay a signing bonus to the team up front. This is vital to cover the early investments we need to make. They will also provide valuable weekly income for us. Each sponsor has a goal they want the team to achieve. If we hit that goal, the sponsor will pay us an additional goal bonus.
Right, so let's have a look then. So normally we mainly look at the goal bonuses, of course, and what they are. So complete a full season, finish 10th or better in the Constructors' Championship, 15 points, achieve 2 points finishes, finish 8th in the Championship, earn 5 Constructors' Championship points, 5 points finishes, 25 Constructors' points in the season. So there are all the options. I'll be honest, on F1 2020, I didn't take too big a gamble with it. So I think we're going to go with RGB, I think, for this one. Finish 10th, you know, if we can beat Haas or Williams, I'd be pretty happy with that there. A big bonus as well and quite good weekly income as well for us.
Now we've got a budget to work with. Our car won't be going anywhere fast without a power unit. So let's sign a power unit supplier now.
So, on F1 2020, I ran with Honda and Renault power over the course of the game.
Both performance
We're going to be changing it up this time.
Power unit, but we also need to balance the books. We're going to have a lot of other areas to invest our cash into.
I was going to go with Ferrari, but apparently the engine's still pretty good and very, very reliable here on F1 2020 as well, though. So I think that's going to be pretty critical. Cost the most as well, for some reason, but we're going to roll with it nonetheless.
Partners for our team now, but we still need a teammate for you.
Right, let's have a look.
These are the drivers available to be your first teammate. They all have their own strengths and weaknesses, so consider everything when deciding who to hire. Drivers earn acclaim based on their performances. When a driver earns enough acclaim, they will level up. The higher a driver's level, the more acclaim they will earn for their current team. And remember, the faster the team levels up, the faster our income will increase. The higher a driver's experience, the more resource points are earned to spend on vehicle upgrades. Racecraft is the driver's skill to effectively complete overtakes when opportunities arise. Awareness shows the driver's ability to avoid errors and incidents. Pace describes the driver's ability to set competitive lap time. Focus represents the driver's current form and state of mind. Rating is a summary of the driver's overall skill level.
So we've got a few options then. We've got, is it just, no, we've got a few more down the end as well. So we've got Sato, PK, Jay and Arugula, Dan Tictum, who looks pretty feisty there. Luca Giotto, of course, won a race in our 2020 career mode there. Matsushita, Lungard, and that is it here on F1 2021. I'm really torn between Tictum, whether we go with a British teammate, or we go with Christian Lungard for this one. He's got good focus, the same experience, better racecraft, better awareness, but slightly worse pace than Dan Tictum there. But we're going to go with Christian Lungard as our teammate.
Go ahead and confirm if you're happy.
So there we go then. RGB are our sponsor, Ferrari Power, and Christian Lungard as our teammate for the very first season here on F1 2021. 212 Motorsport, it's back once more. Let's create the livery. I forgot about that.
To the car as we sign them throughout the year. And don't worry, we can edit our look at any time from HQ.
Right, so of course we can edit the look as well. Now, do we have any of the custom liveries that I really liked on F1 2020? Again, we've got like the Devon Butler, the Casper Rackham, and all those. But yeah, I'm going to have a quick look around and see what we can change on this one. So there we go then. The new 212 Motorsport car is going to be, once more, orange and black here. You know, I wanted to keep with the theme that we had on F1 2020 as well. Of course, you guys know orange is my favourite colour as well. So we're going to be rolling with that. I'm hoping I can make the sponsor colour blue as well. Apparently not, by the looks of it. So we won't worry about that too much. Personal stickers. So first you have to finish. Radio. We're gonna definitely roll with engineering insanity. Ready for this one as well. Hopefully we can unlock more down the line. But there we go then. 212 Motorsport. It's all ready to go once more here on F1 2021. I'm so hyped to dive back into this as well. The car looks beautiful. Let's hopefully now get on with this. So here we are then, meet the press once more on F1 2021. Formula 1 drivers receive a lot of media attention, and how you deal with the press can have an impact on several aspects of your career. Interviews can occur after any session of a race weekend according to what happens and how you performed. How your answers questioned in the interview can affect the morale of your R&D departments, your teammates' motivation, and your acclaim. Considering your answers carefully, refusing to answer can frustrate the press, leading them to ask tougher questions in the future. In my team, your answers can even influence the direction the team takes before you hit the track. Some answers in your pre-season interview will advance your R&D in specific areas, so choose wisely. And the media coaching perk can be purchased through the contract screen at the My Team HQ. This perk unlocks additional answers which may get you out of a difficult question or give you bigger boosts to your acclaim or the team. There are 3 levels of this perk to unlock. So, obviously, most of you guys that have been around this series before know most of this, but for those of you that are new, there's a lot to manage here on F1 2021.
Hello folks, and welcome to this, a very special edition of Paddock Pass. As you can see, there's no pit lane behind me, and as you can hear, no roar of engines, and that's because they've set me free from the F1 paddock to escape here to the countryside and to the headquarters of Formula One's newest team. Now, it's not every day we get to pull back the curtain and look behind the scenes at an F1 team. Rarer still that we get to talk not only to the team owner, but also the team's lead driver. But what makes this place extra special is that the owner and lead driver are one and the same person. Now, it's been an interesting 12 months, and we all know a number of the regulation changes which were due to come into effect this year have been delayed until next. Some, though, are still seeing the light of day, amongst them the all-important budget cap, which gives some of the smaller teams a little further down the order, potentially, the opportunity to compete with the bigger teams. Good for them, but great for us as viewers. But what does our new team owner think about these new rules? Do they see them as a challenge, a hurdle that needs to be overcome? Perhaps they see them as an opportunity to disrupt the status quo, a chance to come out swinging and to carve their name into Formula One history. Well, I had the opportunity to ask them these very questions just earlier today, and here's what they had to say. Well, first of all, thanks so much for inviting us here today. It's been wonderful to see behind the scenes. As you might expect, I've got about 1 million questions, so let's jump straight in. It's been a long time since we last saw a team owner take their own car onto the track, and the sport's changed enormously in the intervening years. How are you going to handle the responsibilities of both managing and driving for a Formula One team?
Well, can I first of all say, what a lovely factory location we've got here on F1 2021. Complete McLaren vibes from this. But anyway, so, of course, we've got to answer these questions quite strategically. I like giving myself a bit of a challenge, so I know there's certain ways you can answer these to give yourself a bit of a head start. Nothing easy is worth doing. I live for the challenges. This isn't about me, this is about the team, and I'm behind them 100%. Together we're unstoppable. I won't lie, it's been a lot of work, and there's even more to come, but I wouldn't have taken the task if I didn't believe in myself and the team. We're pretty down to earth. We'll roll with that one.
Let's talk about your teammate. Now, it's clear they're excited to have signed with you, but tell me, what is it that you think they bring to the team?
Their skill set really suits the team. Lundgaard's a pretty decent driver. We've seen what they can do on paper, and I see a lot of potential in them. It was finding the right fit for our team. They understand that we're new and appreciate the opportunity we're providing. It was tough to get any driver to sign on to a new team, but I'm glad they took the gamble. Don't really want to go with that one. I think we'll go with this.
So you've obviously been putting a lot of work into the car. I know it's early days, but how do you expect it to feel out there?
Making the car as responsible as possible was one of our main goals. Going to give us the edge going through the corners. Sim data looks good, but we don't know until we get out on the track. The chassis balance is incredible. Or we're focused heavily on maximising traction out of the corners. I am going to go with chassis balance, because generally it's probably the thing I struggle with most on F1 2020.
Most of the other teams can boast years of experience in Formula One. Where do you see the opportunities to make those vital performance gains you need to put you within reach of the other cars?
So again, this one is very much a question where you can try and give one of your departments quite a big boost. This era has brought a lot of complexity into the power unit, but we found plenty of room to innovate in our ERS. It's going to be tough. We have a better picture out of the first race. Fuel loads are the key to reducing the weight of the car. The efficiency we've got out of the power unit will keep the weight down. A fresh pair of eyes can find solutions other teams haven't seen in a while, and we found some unique ways of reducing drag. We're going to roll with that, because Ferrari power, good power.
Your success this season is going to come down to whether you can take positions from the other drivers. What is it about your car that's going to give you that edge in those battles?
So F1 isn't just one race, it's a whole season. Rigorous stress testing means we can avoid grid penalties and failures. Overtaking is all about power, so we've been working hard to get every bit of performance out of the power unit. We've produced a really streamlined car. We expect incredible top speeds on the straights. We've developed an incredibly light car. This helps us with both top speed and through the corners. That seems to be the way I'm going to go.
And finally, with so many specialist departments working together here at your headquarters, and with such an important deadline coming up, who's getting that coveted Teacher's Gold Star? Which group do you feel the most proud of right now?
Oh, that one's horrible. So we've really only got, obviously we've got the 4 options for this, but it's one for each department here on F1 2020. F1 2021 even, I should say. You can tell I've been a broken record over the last 12 months. As well there, but we're going to go, we put a lot of effort into the chassis department. I think we're going to go aero for this one. Not too worried again about power unit. That Ferrari thing seems to be chucking out some ponies.
Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been wonderful to get an insight from you, and of course to see around the headquarters. Thank you for today. Really appreciate it, and thank you all at home for watching as well. We'll see you very soon.
So, balancing act. Here you can see your team's balance. The sponsors will give you cash each week and extra bonuses when you complete their objectives. Here are your resource points. You use them to help the team upgrade the car. You can spend them at any time on R&D. And of course, this is your team acclaims level. As this increases, so does your income from sponsors. Many of the top drivers won't consider moving to a low acclaimed team. So get out there and prove yourselves on track before you start approaching them. So, we're here at the factory, ready for F1 2021. We've got 1,000 R&D points on the board.
Facilities and the effects they are having on the business. You can also invest some of our cash into upgrades for these facilities.
Right, do we upgrade any of the facilities? We've got 600k, so I'm thinking, so we got one upgrade on the aero department already on each of those. We got none anywhere else though. To be honest, I think we'll go with some chassis upgrades if possible here. No, we won't. In fact, we got nowhere near enough money for any of those. Do we have any money to upgrade any facility? That is the very important question now. It's not looking great, I won't lie. Nope, it's not looking good at all. We can't upgrade anything just yet. So R&D then, of course, it's important for all F1 teams to continue to develop their car throughout a season. Each weekend offers free practice sessions. During these, you can perform practice programs which will earn you resource points that you can spend on upgrading your car. Completing specific objectives in these programs will earn you development boosts, reducing the cost of some upgrades. You can pursue upgrades in each of 4 R&D departments. Completing upgrades will reveal more avenues of development for you to consider, making more complicated and more expensive upgrades available to research. From time to time, you will receive upgrades from your engine supplier. As your facilities get upgraded, you'll be able to develop multiple upgrades at once, speed up the delivery upgrades, and have fewer failed upgrades as well, of course. And consider carefully how to manage the morale of your R&D departments, keeping in mind the effects of what you say and do. Good or bad morale can have an effect on both the time it takes to develop and the likelihood of failure. So very much the same as F1 2020 there, but, you know, it was a great system. We got 24, we got 59, 87 upgrades, I want to say. No, 97 upgrades, sorry, here on F1 2021. And look at that, we're mid-pack to begin this series. I wish I'd known. Oh, well, either we finessed the answers, or we're clearly a lot better than I thought we would be here on F1 2021. They're pretty much level with Alpine and AlphaTauri, though, and obviously a bit ahead of Alfa Romeo and Haas. So we've got 4 upgrades already on the chassis department there, which is really, really good to see. 2 on the weight redistribution, 2 on the weight reduction, and then none on the tyre wear just yet. So I'll have to work out that down the line. Of course, very, very different system to last year. So we need a facility spec 1 there. 4 on the powertrain as well. None on the engine power, 4 on the supplier upgrades as well. Of course, they can see we've got a couple more to go at the moment. 4 on the durability. Again, that is all on the supplier upgrades as well there. So we've got some coming in down the line, and then 1 on the aerodynamics as well, of course, and that is the front wing gurney flap as well. They don't quite have enough R&D to upgrade the streamlined suspension arms as well, but it's such a sophisticated system within the R&D tree there. That is absolutely brilliant to see as well, of course. First engine, everything like that. Obviously, corporate, we need more acclaim before we can get any more sponsors on the board. And then having a look at the championship, you can see there is your full calendar for F1 at 2021. We've got Canada back. We've got Australia back, of course. Obviously, both those Grand Prix have now been dropped in the real-life season there, but obviously very, very similar to the mod career mode we ran here on F1 at 2020 there. Of course, Canada added in, so a 20-race season as well. So really, really looking forward to diving into this as well, of course. Sat at the rear of the field, ready to start the season, but I think we might be ready to head to the first race of the year. But before that, we've got to do the car reveal.
It's important to use the time between races to the fullest extent. That's where these activities come in. Manage everyone's time as efficiently as possible to maximize the team's performance.
So, of course, team activities as well. Something I didn't do so much towards the end of F1 2020, but of course really, really critical as well. Their team activities allow you to schedule various events when you're not at the race weekend. These activities will earn various rewards from cash to acclaim, so it's worth checking to see if you can squeeze any in. And there's also now an autofill feature, which is really, really good to see as well. So we got a pre-merchandise sale, a driver training camp. That can be very, very useful as well there. A pre-season advertising campaign, or a pre-season driver press tour. We're going to go with the driver camp for our teammate there. And then after that, we'll go with some sales as well there to get ourselves a little bit more money on the books. Can we now jump into this? Right, let's go through all of this early stuff. Hopefully everything all works. There we go. Some nice upgrades there. A bit of cash in the books. Let's head to the car reveal. So a very, very similar car reveal to what we had on F1 2020, but still very, very cool nonetheless. I must admit, I do love the orange of this car as well there. Might have tried to make it just a little bit darker, but, you know, I think on the track it's going to look a lot darker than it does there. But yeah, let's get through and get ready for the Bahrain Grand Prix, the first race of the new season. I'm so excited to dive into this. But of course, the heavy lifting starts now. It's been a very long time since I had an uncompetitive car on a Formula 1 game. Let's head to Bahrain.
Hello. I see you found the data center. My name is Pierre. I'm your man for all issues of R&D, so get used to hearing a lot from me. Your workstation should be all set up and good to go. But if you run into any issues, be sure to give me a shout.
They have not got rid of Jeff from F1 2021. I do hope not. I mean, he was very annoying, but I hope they haven't got rid of him for the new game. Of course, we've got rivalries back as well, of course. Obviously, you set yourself up a rival in the game and obviously see how you perform against them over the first few weeks. Obviously, we can't do anything like that just yet. But hopefully, when we get down to practice, Jeff will be there. I do hope he is, I'll be honest with you guys. So obviously we've got some tutorials, some emails as well, of course. The weekend, is it looking dry? It's, yeah, very, very slim chance of rain there. I got very, very confused with that percentage there. I thought it was going to rain for a lot of the weekend. But, yeah, let's head out then into free practice for our very first time in the 212 Motorsport V2, I guess we could call it. We're going to go with that.
Morning, boss. Jeff here. Thanks again for bringing me on board. You've found a lot of talented people for this team. I can't wait to see what we can accomplish. Our journey to the Constructors' Championship starts here today, and the car is ready to head out whenever you are.
Jeff's back! We don't lose Jeff! Oh, I'm far happier with that than I should be. I'm sure by the end of free practice 1 he's going to be annoying me again here on F1 2021. But let's have the garage tutorial quickly. So, free practice sessions are a vital part of each Grand Prix weekend. Not only do they give you an opportunity to learn the track, they offer a range of practice programs which are completed in advance to develop the car. We've obviously got all the practice programs which we spent on upgrades. Additionally, each program offers a number of development boosts. Completing one of these gives your R&D team valuable insights into your car's performance, resulting in cheaper upgrades. That's a cool little feature to have as well there, and you may adjust the car setup over the course of these sessions to try and find those extra fractions of a second. Note that the sporting regulations dictate that after every free practice session you must hand back 2 sets of your dry tyre allocation for the weekend, so get the most out of them whilst you can. So let's have a quick tweak of the setup then before we head out for our first session. I'm going to probably leave it like we did with F1 2020 for the most part. Obviously lower front wing, a bit higher at the rear, but we'll wait and see as to how the car handles, whether we need to change anything else as well. So here we go then, having a look at the new practice programs. We've got race strategy, qualifying pace, and track acclimatization then. So only 3 programs on F1 2021. We're going to roll with the track acclimatization first of all then. Drive 3 laps through a series of gated places around each corner on the track to score the highest possible. Earn points based on how many gates you hit. Chain multiple gates together to gain bonus points. And this program is obviously designed to help learn the track layout, its racing line, and the braking points there. So really, really critical for those of you guys that are new to the game. Definitely do the track acclimatization first. Right, so heading out then to Sakir for our very first Formula 1 Grand Prix in the new 212 V2 here on F1 2021. Intrigued to see how this thing's going to handle as we head down towards turn 1.
DRS zone is coming up.
Very, very understeering, I think.
Distance is on your MFD.
We've Mazepined it. We've actually Mazepined it off the start here. Very, very leery, I think, is the best way to describe this thing. As all Latifi very, very close to an instant there between the pair of us. Love the new HUD, though, here on F1 2021. But, yeah, just... Whoa, what is wrong with this car at the moment there? Might have to try and tweak a couple of the settings on it. Didn't think I'd made it that... To be honest, I tried to put a bit more of a race-ready setup on it, but still feeling very, very leery. Right, coming towards the end of our first lap then. It's certainly not been the best lap in the world, but I've moved the brake bias a bit forward again. And it does seem to have made the thing a little bit easier to handle there. I guess we're also just getting used to the car just a little bit more as well. But yeah, that's not a particularly great one, I'll be honest.
Turn 10, turn 11, turn 12.
So the team basically saying half the track wasn't particularly great there. as well, but hopefully this second lap can be a whole lot better. I forget just, oh, you can see just how much the back end tries to squabble with us through turn 1 and turn 2 over that exit curb. Just being nice and easy with the car. It's very, very loose. Through turn 9, yeah, definitely the moving the brake bias back by about 5% has really helped us out here. I won't lie to you guys. Of course, got to remember to try and use the battery as well. But it's weird listening to a Ferrari power unit as well in the back of a car. I haven't heard one of those in a very, very long time as well. Oh, just still a load of understeer through the high-speed stuff. Struggling to get the accuracy in with the front end. But as we round the final few corners of this lap, this one should be at the very least the green score. Right, down towards the line. It is going to be the green score at the very least. What is the purple score? 470. Don't think we're going to be able to get that, so pretty happy with that in the end then, considering how bad the first lap was. So there we go, track acclimatization, we did get 3 out of the 5. Let's head out then for our qualifying pace run. This one might be a bit of a challenge, but we'll see how it goes. So 1:27.9 then is the target time in this first run. Let's just see how far off we end up from that. Are we particularly good down the straights? Yes, we have got a pretty good package in a straight line, so we might just need a little bit more aero on the car. Still just don't have much confidence in the car at the moment. It's a bit like when we used to get a new car on F1 2020. The first couple of weekends of the year, we always really, really struggled with the qualifying programs. They're just not too sure how much we can push, how much we can lean on it, as well as we head around the final corner there. We have gained a few tenths back in the final sector of the lap there, but at a second off the goal in the end is not where we wanted to be, but that's okay.
We need it again, I'm afraid.
Like I said, for me, I'll be honest, the practice program, especially around Bahrain generally, is always really, really strong, so I'm not going to too worry about that all too much there. Race strategy, though, complete up to 5 laps of the circuit at normal race pace, so that the ideal fuel and pit strategy can be calculated. You will earn points for each lap completed within the target time and extra points for chaining multiple good laps together. This program is designed to benchmark your car's tyre wear and fuel usage in order to help the team maintain and build a personalised race strategy for you. So a lot of different development boosts here. Let's see how we get on. Right, so of course we don't want to overstep the mark on these runs, so hopefully we can just try and get a good few laps in. Target time is a 29.7, so hopefully, yeah, we can hit that fairly consistently. I might have forgot to use the battery on our qualifying run there, so that might have been why we lost so much time to our predicted, but so far, yeah, we're a good half a second down. Ooh, big wobble. So we head up the hill, try and make sure we don't hit that inside curb there, as again, just exploring the limits here in Bahrain. But yeah, about half a second down so far. Let's see if we can try and recover that using a load of battery in towards the final couple of corners here. We've taken a good 3 tenths out there. Can we do the same as we head through the final turn? Ease on the power again there, down towards the line. Is it going to be enough to get us the green score? Only just in the end, but that was good.
Keep it up.
Whoa, you cannot hit the curbs on F1 2021. Almost into the barrier there. But yeah, I feel like we're learning a lot though about the car at the moment, and about F1 2021 as well, though the curbs are still absolutely lethal, just like we saw in Australia. Here as well, head back out onto the track. This and next lap invalidated? How on earth have we invalidated next lap? We're barely halfway through Sector 2. But yeah, I think that's probably going to put pay to the rest of our race practice program here. But we've definitely learnt a huge amount about the car. Well, there we go then. Free practice done and dusted here from the Australian Grand Prix. And Valtteri Bottas setting the pace there. 3/4 of a second clear of Daniel Ricciardo in the McLaren there. Ricciardo, 1.2 quicker than Lando Norris. How much has he paid coders for that here on F1 2021? But you can see further down the order, Lundgaard P13, myself P16 there. So we're in the mix with, like we said, the likes of AlphaTauri and Alpine here. Hopefully, come qualifying, at the very least, we can both make it through into Q2. But don't want to get too optimistic in our very, very first race weekend. So all of the boosts and everything applied there, and you can see we've got quite a few R&D price reductions there. You can see Team Acclaim combined boost as well, up to 12%, so we're already halfway through level 1. Let's head out to qualifying. Look how beautiful this car looks when the sun starts to set here in Bahrain. Absolutely stunning, the bright orange. Certainly, yeah, stands out on the Formula 1 grid as well there. But getting ready to start our first qualifying run for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Not too sure what we should expect from this lap, I'll be honest with you guys. But fingers crossed, we can keep it clean, we can keep it tidy, and we can try and get through into Q2. Just want to try and get a first good representative lap on the board, though with no mistakes. As, yeah, got to really ease the car through turn 1 and turn 2 there. Can get away with a bit more curb through turn 3 now. I've upped the ride height just a little bit more there, but yeah, still don't want to be leaning on that lap after lap in the race. Just so easy. You feel like the car is just not comfortable underneath you, and this is always what makes these slower cars slower in Formula 1. It's the confidence you can carry with them, as well as the lack of just raw downforce and performance there. Stroll set fastest time for Aston Martin a moment ago there, but I think it was Hamilton just went way quicker as we head around our lap. So far, this has been pretty dialed in, if I do say so myself. A lot better than any of our free practice runs there, as we're getting nice good traction out of the corners. So the tweaks I've made definitely, I feel, are working at this stage of the session there, and it's allowing us to brake a bit later, be a bit braver through the corners as well. There are a little bit of slip from the rear end as we head up through sector 3 again, just running a little bit wide through turn 11, I want to say that is. But anyway, in towards the final corner of the lap then. Of course, no rich mix anymore here on F1 2021. We're going to have to get used to not saying that. Hamilton at 24.9, fastest time in the session there. We're barely out of the final corner, and already that time has ticked past. It's a 28.3 between Mazepin and Latifi. Is not great. Right, so currently only faster than Nicholas Latifi as we get ready to start our second Q1 run. Our teammate Lundgaard is about 8-9 tenths faster than us, I think, at this stage of the session there. So at the very least, we need to find, you know, sort of a good half a second. Like I said, the AI tend to be very strong around Bahrain anyway, but we do not want to go out in Q1 if we can avoid it. Much later on the brakes in towards turn 1 there, and we still do get it slowed down to the apex there. That was a lot better, finding a bit more confidence with the car, and quarter of a second already found through the first complex of corners there. That is exactly what I like to see. Yeah, just got to try and be a bit braver with it, sort of drag it around the corners a little bit more there. It likes to scream a little bit at us as we ride the curbs down the hill. Things looking good so far. Ooh, just a little bit wide there, but we get the back end rotated really tidily through out of the hairpin there. No idea how we managed that. Down towards turn 9. Oh, come on, get the nose over. Oh, just use a bit of curb on the exit. It's going to cost us our run off the exit of the corner there. We're still 6 tenths up as we head in towards the second half of the lap there. Again, nice and brave on the brakes. Carry the momentum off the corner as well, though. We're still just throwing away a little bit of time at this part of the lap there, but we should get a nice tidy run up through turn 11, take a lot of curb through turn 12, a lot of curb on the exit as well to really slingshot yourself down towards the final couple of corners. And at the moment we're going to be around Mick Schumacher if we don't do anything stupid through this final turn. Round in the final corner we go, another couple of tenths found. That's what you like to see there, 8 tenths up as we come towards the end of our Q1 run. P17 just a few tenths behind Lundgaard. That was a lot better, but we're going to need to do one more if we want to think about getting into Q2. Right, so getting ready then to start our final lap in qualifying. We're going to have to use 3 runs in Q1 here. We need about another 3.5 tenths if we want to beat our teammate Christian Lundgaard in our very first Formula 1 outing here. We need to get an absolutely nailed up lap. Try and get everything out of the car here around this track. Can the 212 V2 make it into Q2 for the first time in its F1 debut? Back down towards someone there again, even braver on the brakes. Not such good throttle pickup though on the exit of the corner there, but we did really nail turn 1 on our last lap there, so being half tenth off as we head up the hill isn't too disappointing whatsoever there. Get the car nicely through turn 4 at the top of the hill, And then really trying to avoid the curbs on the exit there, down through turn 5. Oh, way too much curb on the entry there. You can see unsettle the balance of the car there. And so far, just not been particularly hooked up as we head through the hairpin there. Again, just a little bit of wheel spin on the exit of the corner there. Really struggling to get the car planted where we want it a bit earlier. Through turn 9, no curb on the exit as well there. And again, you can see we're about 2/10 down there, but we recovered a 1/10 of a second on the exit of the corner here. But another 3/10 in the second half of the lap is going to be optimistic to find as we head back up the hill once more. You can feel the back end just skating around behind us there as we try not to clip the curb. Don't hit the wall, but we were just pushing just too hard at the end of qualifying there, and that was almost a very, very nasty and expensive crash in our very first Formula 1 Grand Prix weekend. We got away with that. Schumacher goes faster on us though. We are definitely out in Q1 here for this Grand Prix. Russell goes faster as well there. It's a bit heartbreaking to be mixing it with the back markers, but we probably should have expected it here. And yeah, not the start of the season we wanted there. A very, very dramatic conclusion to Q1, and I'll be honest, a bit gutted with that. Your first competitive marker in the world of Formula 1, of course, is always your teammate there. And Valtteri Bottas, quicker than Lewis Hamilton at the end of Q1. They're half a second clear of the Red Bulls, though. They look formidable at this early stage of the year there. McLaren as well, looking very, very strong. P5 and P6. Aston Martin and Ferrari could be in for a good battle over the course of this year there. The same can be said for Alpine and AlphaTauri. Can't seem to have a look further down the order, though, for whatever reason. Here we go. Now we can. So there we go. Christian Lundgaard, though, does sneak through into Q2. They're half a second clear of ourselves at the end of qualifying there, so a little bit gutted with that one. We joined both Haas, both Williams, and Giovinazzi out in Q1 for the Bahrain Grand Prix there. Your first main rival is always your teammate. We haven't beat him in qualifying, but hopefully, if we get into the race, we can try and pull out some magic.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round 1 of this year's Formula 1 World Championship. We go racing today around 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit, with 15 corners and 2 good passing opportunities into turns 1 and 4. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left tyre into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. A new season then, a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as we get another year of Formula 1 underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice, and they've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Ricciardo, Sergio Perez and Norris, Leclerc, Vettel, Sainz and Pierre Gasly, Stroll, Fernando Alonso, Yuki Tsunoda and Ocon, Raikkonen, Lundgaard, Mick Schumacher and George Russell, Mr. Monaco, Mazepin, Giovinazzi and Nicholas Latifi. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Well, apparently for our first Grand Prix ever on F1 2021, Jeff's got nothing to add as we get ready here. But we're ready on the grid for the very first race here of F1 2021 My Team. Race strategy introduction. Race strategies are used for the team to determine the pit stops and tyre choice. Strategies are available as personalised or projected. Personalised strategies use specific data collected from your participation in the race strategy program, providing a bespoke strategy based on your performance. Projected strategies are generated using simulation data. So, the team then, medium to hard tyres. They reckon the one stop is going to be doable around this circuit today, and I think, to be honest, spending as little time in the pits, we're going to go for the endurance style mentality here. Spend as little time in the pits and you can't go wrong in this Grand Prix. We just got to try and keep it nice, clean and tidy off the start here as well in Bahrain, but really, really looking forward to getting into the first race of the year. The first race of the new game as well, properly. Of course, we've done a little bit of breaking point, but this is where it gets real here on F1 2021. Let's dive into it then. Our very first race in the 2-2 Motorsport V2 car. P19 on the grid here for the Bahrain Grand Prix. I know how to launch a Formula 1 car. It's 5 red lights and it's lights out. And away we go, off to a much better start than George Russell on our inside there as we head down towards the money. You can see Schumacher and Lundgaard already trying to go side by side with Raikkonen, as I tried to be early on the brakes, but actually was pretty tidy in towards turn 1 there. Lundgaard trying to give him the room on the inside there as Schumacher clean around the outside of the pair of us on the exit of the first corner there. You can see both of the 2-2 Motorsport cars struggling for power out of turn 1 there, but Lundgaard has not had the best start in the world, already straight down to P18 in this Grand Prix there. We move ourselves up into P17 off the start as well, so a good little start for us. Up 2, Lundgaard down 2 off the start of this Grand Prix, but as we head down through Sector 2, I must admit, a lot of these cars look stunning on F1 2021 on the Xbox Series X as well. Of course, here, the lighting on this game so much better than we saw on F1 2020 as well. Of course, the cars really do shine here under the floodlights as well. But a decent start for ourselves. We kept the front wing tidy, everything like that, which was really, really important off the start of this Grand Prix. The damage model here on F1 2021 a lot more ruthless than F1 2020, as well as everything else. It just feels so much more simulation here on F1 2021. We just got a little bit of turbo hiss as we got off the throttle there. That was really, really cool to hear as well in the background. But yeah, the car completely clean. I think we've just got to try and settle down into a rhythm, maintain temperatures and everything like that. There is Valtteri Bottas leads the way at the end of lap 1 though. I don't want to be behind Mick Schumacher if we can avoid it though. As we head back down towards turn 1, maybe I won't need to be behind Mick Schumacher for all too long in this Grand Prix. They're getting a nice run on the Haas car. He's aware of it though, goes a bit defensive on us. We're trying to look down around the outside, squeeze him out over those curbs through turn 1. He's going to do the same to me through turn 2 there, so we'll return the favour at turn 3, still side by side with Mick Schumacher there as we head out of Sector 1. He's going to try and keep the nose there. A little bit later on the brakes, but we'll pinch him out on the apex, and we will now move on into P16 of the Grand Prix. So a brilliant little start for ourselves. We're up 3 places in the first lap and a half. Getting a little bit out of shape, but that's okay. Valtteri Bottas still setting the pace at the end of lap 2 here. You can see Ocon and Raikkonen already 3 seconds up the road from ourselves, and this is always the thing, it's such a step into the unknown. I was so used to, on F1 2020, just being able to close up to other cars really easily here, but on 2021 it is not going to be the same story, at least in the early stages of career mode here. We don't know what the car's capable of over race trim. I would love to try and score some points over the course of the year, but it's unlikely we'll get that opportunity in round 1. We just got to keep our head down, hit some good laps, keep the tyres in good nick, get into the pit stop window, and work our race from there. Still the back end really wheel spinning a lot as we head around this lap there, but as we start lap 4, tyre wear not too bad at the rear of the car. They were losing a good chunk of time though to the guys in front lap after lap, so it might be a case of trying to become king of the back markers early on this season, as Lundgaard and Schumacher still trying to squabble behind. Never can get a run out of turn 10 there. Schumacher always taking like half a second out of us down at that straightaway here. But again, we're just trying to settle down. Oh, again, big wobble on the exit of the corner there, and that's what I keep doing at the moment, just trying to carry too much throttle there. Schumacher tried to have a look around the outside. I think that was more stupid than brave through there. But yeah, Schumacher's still trying to apply the pressure there, as I think his teammate Mazepin, down to last place in this Grand Prix, pretends to be shocked.
Some information on Sonoda. They have some kind of mechanical problem.
Ooh, so Sonoda then, already with mechanical issues in this first Grand Prix of the year. We better just check how our car's doing. Everything still seems to be in good nick at the moment, of course, but mechanical failure is, of course, always a big worry at the early stages of the new season. The gap to Ocon in front of us has started to stabilise a bit more, but I don't know if that's just, there seems to be a bit of a battle pack forming in front. Whether we can try and make some inroads, or whether, yeah, they're just all now squabbling and still going as quick as us back markers. That's not what you want at turn 4 either. Back end getting very, very fishtaily. Oh, we got yellow flags out, actually. Who is that? Is that going to be Yuki Tsunoda having issues in this Grand Prix. No, it's one of the Ferraris. Carlos Sainz out of this Grand Prix by the looks of it. Is he? No, Carlos Sainz carrying on. So, has he been spun there, or something's happened to Carlos Sainz? But he seems to have got away with it in this Grand Prix. Huge pile of sparks fly off the back of that Ferrari in towards Sector 3 there. But no idea what's happened to Carlos, but whatever it is, it's pushed him back down to P15. And I was very, very worried for a second there that perhaps Ferrari had given us a Duff power unit. It's already failing in the back of one of the works cars. And Tsunoda's definitely dropping back in this Grand Prix. He's just popped down into P14 here as Sainz starting to pull away once more there. I was hoping we could try and stick in the wheel tracks of Carlos Sainz there. But Tsunoda, he's going back at Ocon. Fair play to him. Obviously, his first Formula 1 Grand Prix as well. We've got our first few pitters as well here. There, that was one of the Aston Martins. I think one of the... there must have been Gasly as well, I think, in the other AlphaTauri. As well as one of the Mercedes has re-emerged not far up the road. But yeah, hopefully Tsunoda might be a little bit vulnerable here. We could try and gain more spots. I'm at a P13 of the Grand Prix. I'd love to at least run in the points for a little bit here, whether it's be on strategy or not.
There's been an incident on track, but officials aren't looking to push for a safety car right now. Just be careful.
Haven't heard that message before on F1 2020, so that's quite an interesting one. Wonder why that incident has occurred then. Sainz though into the pits at the end of lap 8 there, as Verstappen and Ricciardo are now going to come out just ahead of us. Ricciardo ahead of Max Verstappen though in his McLaren and almost pushing Tsunoda through turn 1 and turn 2 there. Tsunoda surely is not going to be able to do much to defend from those guys, and is definitely dropping back still at the moment. The gap now down to 2.5 seconds. Can we push the AlphaTauri driver and maybe get ourselves up another spot? Verstappen has a look up the inside in towards the S's there. Of course, Max Verstappen, a brave man in a Formula 1 car, and that pushes Tsunoda even closer to our clutches. Are we going to see any more pitters at the end of lap 9? Already a good third race distance into this Grand Prix, and now we've got the DRS of Yuki Tsunoda here. We've got one of the McLarens in, as well as Sergio Perez here. We think about having a look up the inside of Tsunoda, but a bit worried about where Perez was going to re-emerge, as Tsunoda sits on the apex through turn 1. Have we got any damage from that one? No, somehow we haven't. We've been getting away with that one there. First contact of the day, but we're still doing okay. Luckily for us as well, Norris comes out between ourselves and Schumacher. That's giving ourselves a little bit of ground behind in case we make a mistake trying to battle Tsunoda. Of course, it hasn't been long before Lando Norris is trying to apply the pressure to us as well. We just run a bit wide through turn 12 there, and that's going to be an open door for Lando Norris in this Grand Prix. Hopefully, though, it'll allow us to get even more DRS in this race as we try and close back up to him and, far more importantly, Yuki Tsunoda here. We could have been in the points for a brief period in this Grand Prix, but I think we might have thrown it away here as Lando surely now is going to fly past Tsunoda back down towards turn 1. We'll get the double slipstream, but when again not going to be close enough to Yuki. That Honda power unit working wonders in the back of that AlphaTauri at the moment, and there's just nothing we can do down the straight. Tsunoda kicks out the back end through turn 2. We do the same. Right, we got Charles Leclerc now closing in as Yuki Tsunoda starting to just inch away again in this Grand Prix. Wonder if AlphaTauri have got that issue sorted in the back of his car. But yeah, for us though, not a great sign, as we might just see the AlphaTauri pull away once more. These tyres though, definitely going off. As Charles Leclerc, yeah, nothing we're going to be able to do, nothing we really need to do in this Grand Prix. As well as the Ferrari going to send it up the inside, and we will have to slot back down into P13. Unlucky for some, hopefully not for us in this Grand Prix. Every time I get off that corner, I always try and up the fuel mix, and of course, forgetting I can't, just put the brake bias up every single time there, so I have to recorrect it again on the straightaway there. But yeah, no one pitting at the moment. I think we're probably going to come in the end of this next lap. Yes.
Pit this lap, so push now.
So Team 1 is in at the end of this one there, as Charles Leclerc gets back past Tsunoda. Definitely feel like it's ready to make that call. These tyres are not in great nick at the moment, as that proves through turn 1. B-kick a wheel spin, however. Lundgaard has got back past Schumacher, and is only a couple of seconds behind us.
Okay, gap ahead is 2.8
Heading down in
seconds.
towards the final couple of corners of lap 13 then. Still sat in P13 in this Grand Prix as Lundgaard is obviously going to get back past us when we do inevitably make our stop. Intrigued to see whether many of the other medium runners are going to pit in, but we need to make sure we don't do anything stupid on the way into the pit lane here. Engage the limiter. That was pretty tidy on the way in, so happy with that one there. And our first Formula 1 pit stop here on F1 2021. Tsunoda in just a couple of seconds ahead of us, so hopefully we can hold him up just a little bit. Of course, we'll get the last box down the pit lane as well. Onto a set of hards for the second half of this Grand Prix is 1.9. Hello! I will have that very, very happily indeed. Coming back out onto the track though, P20 just ahead of Russell and Mazepin here, but a 1.9 second pit stop for our first in Formula 1. Thank you very much, F1 2021. Pray to Lord Lee Mather.
Christian is in the pits. Christian in the pits.
So Christian Lundgaard into the pit lane as well there, so hopefully now we're going to stay out ahead of our teammate. I doubt it was going to make 2 seconds on us using an overcut here as well at Bahrain. Not the worst track for overcuts in the world, I won't lie. But yeah, I don't think we've made enough mistakes to have really gained anything out of it there. And yeah, you can see we come back out into P16 of the Grand Prix. But yeah, I mean, still a few of the top guys have got to pit again. But don't think, unless we get a safety car at exactly the right time, that points are going to be on the table here today. We've got 4 seconds behind, 3 in front. I think we've just got to continue what we're doing, keep our head down, and try to just work this car to the end. So we've had a part failure on the rear wing.
Offline. There's a fault with the rear wing system. Stay out. We can work on a fix remotely.
Well, better than F1 2020 then. The DRS hasn't stuck open this time around. I think I had about 3 different failures of that in a row at one point on F1 2020. But on F1 2021, luckily it's stuck closed in the first race of the series there. Don't think DRS is going to be too relevant for us at the moment either. But the gap to Tsunoda is starting to come down just a little bit again. Maybe that AlphaTauri working his hard tyres and not getting him in the right window. Ooh, back end really tried to snap on me there. We get a warning for track limits that time round. But yeah, nothing I can really do in that situation. The back end, yeah, really tried to rotate round on the sun, and we almost managed to do what we did in qualifying there. Lucky to keep that point in the right direction, but it's allowed Tsunoda to further extend his gap over us. And I think, yeah, again, the race very much becomes trying to solidify where we're at. After that little scare, I'm sure Lundgaard behind us, probably sensing a little bit of vulnerability in ourselves at this stage of the race there. Just don't feel as confident to push the car. As you can see, just getting even more wheel spin in a couple of places as we try to pick up the throttle a bit earlier than we probably should be. So yeah, the gap to Lundgaard still coming down. Got a couple more guys into the pit lane though, Vettel and Gasly. As we head back out of the pits, there is Sebastian Vettel. So we might get to battle the 4-time world champion for at least a short period in this Grand Prix. And I will certainly take that opportunity.
Nice move.
Let's see how long this battle lasts for though. Vettel, the Aston Martin, much quicker than ourselves. On much fresher rubber than ourselves. I think we all know where this one's going to go. Ooh, Sebastian trying to be brave. Down around the outside through turn 10. And I mean, we've followed him deep into the braking zone, but Sebastian Vettel has royally mugged me off in that situation there. Hamilton knew fastest lap of the Grand Prix, but what an audacious move by Sebastian Vettel there. Shows as he's joined Aston Martin for the new year. Certainly still got a lot of talent left in him. Sykes into the pit lane once more as well, so we are going to re-inherit P15 once again in this Grand Prix. Battling Ferrari's past and Ferrari's future. DRS back online as well now, which is good. To be honest, I hadn't even thought about it since it happened, so, I mean, I guess we can use it for a lap against Sebastian Vettel. Try and keep ourselves a bit further ahead of Lundgaard, but Sainz, yeah, only 3 seconds back, is probably going to be getting past both of us pretty quickly still. Oh, Daniel Ricciardo out of the Grand Prix.
It looks like they're retiring.
So McLaren then, the first DNF of the new year there, and not what they would have wanted on their re-emergence with Mercedes here in Formula 1. That is going to give us P14 though in this Grand Prix. And is that a power unit failure? Yeah, seems to be. Car absolutely intact. Daniel Ricciardo pulling off to the infield there in the Bahrain Grand Prix. And yeah, not the way McLaren would have wanted to start the new season. Whoa, Carlos Sainz! What was that for an attempted move? Oh my god. What was that from Carlos Sainz? A huge calamity in the Bahrain Grand Prix there as we tried to rejoin the circuit after we got barged off, and we've completely hit our teammate Christian Lundgaard there. Massive apologies to him in this race. But yeah, like I said, just trying to get back to the circuit there without having to go through the gravel trap. And Carlos Sainz going for a diving move at the completely wrong part of the circuit. But already then, tension surely will have risen between ourselves and our teammate here. And not what we need in this Bahrain Grand Prix. 8 laps to go. Now we just need to get our head down and get to the end in one piece. Don't know whether this is F1 My Team or Breaking Point. Teammate collisions in the first race of the year there. But now we've got George Russell trying to apply some pressures. Yeah, that's just really knocked our confidence back once more in the car. They're struggling to manage the wheel spin at this stage of the day. But we've got a lot of ERS still to use. So we've managed that quite well over the course of this one. Not managed our braking though into turn 10. There is George Russell now. Might be able to capitalise on this. Gonna have a look straight past us as we head down the back straightaway. Here it's a drag race between myself and the Mercedes-powered Williams. Can we have a look right around the outside? We just about find the grip. Bit of a wobble on the exit. But we do hold on for now. Make sure only half throttle through turn 12. Just don't have the confidence there. But we hold on and live to fight another day with George Russell. 5 laps to go here from Bahrain, and George Russell is still hanging on to the back of us at this stage of the day there. He is absolutely rapid. 11.4 to Carlos Sainz in front of us, but you can see that Williams just not quite fast enough down the straights. So again, as long as we do nothing stupid in the dying stages here in Bahrain, we might be able to still walk away with P15. We seem to be able to pull away so much from George Russell down the straightaways. We get the gap up to like 8-9 tenths before the DRS zone. And then he just gains again, and then through the twisty bits, there's nothing we can do. I think we've destroyed these hard tyres a little bit more than the Williams behind us. You can see, yeah, the rear's at 50%. So not completely gone just yet, but not in particularly great shape either. As we try to hang on to P15 in the opening race of the year here. We got Giovinazzi and Schumacher behind. And that's what I mean about the back-end instability in this car. You just take it through that corner, and every time round, the back end is trying to over-rotate on you. And that has put us way back down the order. And now, we're down to P18 of this Grand Prix, and I don't think there's going to be much chance for us to close back up a heartbreaking way in such late stages here in Sakhir. That is gutting. But 3 laps to go, let's just try and get this thing to the flag still. Well, rounding the final few corners, getting ready to start the final lap of our very first race of the My Team career mode. It's certainly been a race of drama and chaos here in Bahrain. No safety cars, surprisingly, but a mechanical failure for Daniel Ricciardo. Big contact between myself and our teammate Christian Lundgaard as well. Was not the way we wanted to start the year. And of course that unfortunate mistake towards the end of the race as well. Though Hamilton is about to come around the final corner to win the Bahrain Grand Prix there and kick his 2021 title campaign defence off with a bang here as he looks to hunt for his 8th Formula 1 world title there. Bottas, I'm pretty certain, is going to come through P2 as well. But we've learned a lot about the car. We've learned a lot about F1 2021 as a game over the course of this first race of the year there. As you can see, the fireworks off around the Bahrain Grand Prix circuit. We didn't even get lapped in the first race of the year there. I'm pretty happy with that as well at the end of the day. But we've certainly only got a car that can battle with the back markers at the moment. I think, though, we're not far away from being able to fight with the lower end of the midfield. Like we said, the likes of Alpine and AlphaTauri can be very, very good fun to battle with over the course of this year. But no points in the opening race of the season for ourselves. No crazy heroics like that. But in towards the final few corners here from Sakhir, it has certainly been a very, very big learning curve nonetheless. Like we said, Hamilton comes through for the race victory. 25 points on the board there. I think Valtteri Bottas did claim the fastest lap away from him as well. But using the last of our overtake mode in towards the final corner of the Bahrain Grand Prix, it's going to be P19 to P18 in the end. Doesn't look so good on paper, but we certainly had quite a big learning curve today. And you know what? I'll take that happily enough.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Smiling faces on the pit wall after a superb win here at Sakhir. and rightly so. What a brilliant effort from the whole team. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection, a shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again. Let's have a quick look at how the drivers' standings have changed. Lewis Hamilton takes the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
Fernando Alonso, wherever he is, whatever team he's in, when is he not just brilliant? He'll give you a performance every time, just like he's done today.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes move to the top of the table. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time? Be sure to join us again as we continue to bring you the latest excitement in Formula One.
Well, there we are then, the end of the Bahrain Grand Prix, and what a start to our F1 2021 career mode there. Lewis Hamilton, pole position, race victory, 25 points, done and dusted. World title number 8 is surely already ready for him as well there. Valtteri Bottas P2 there does take the fastest lap bonus point away, so the gap only 6 as we head in towards round 2 of the year there. Verstappen P3 ahead of Sergio Perez there. Lando Norris in 5th ahead of Charles Leclerc, all on the 2-stop. Not too sure why Alonso deserved driver of the day ahead of Lance Stroll there. 11th to 7th versus 12th to 8th. Perhaps Davidson is just a big Alonso fan there. But a good result done by Fernando on his F1 return there. Both Alpines getting into the points in the end with Ocon in 9th and Gasly for AlphaTauri in P10 there. Sebastian Vettel just misses out ahead of Carlos Sainz. And you can see further down the order, Yuki Tsunoda, Kimi Raikkonen, Russell, Giovinazzi, Schumacher, myself, and then Nicolas Latifi there with Lundgaard and Mazepin both finishing one lap down there. And Ricciardo, the only man not to make it to the checkered flag. Championship-wise, of course, drivers is going to be exactly the same as the finishing order there. Constructors-wise, though, Mercedes the full 44 points at the top. Red Bull on 27 ahead of McLaren on 10. Ferrari on 8. Aston Martin and Alpine on 6 apiece there, and AlphaTauri with 1 on the board there as well. And unfortunately for us, last in the Constructors' Championship after the first race weekend of the year there. I'm sure we'll get opportunities to try and recover our way up to, at the very worst, P8 come the end of the season there. But a crazy opening race to the new campaign. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed. I know it's been an incredibly long video as well, but obviously, like I said at the beginning, 100 likes and I'll upload episode 2 later on today as well for you guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll be back very, very soon, ready for the Spanish Grand Prix. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive, massive thank you to the Travesty, Patrick and Chuan for being a member of the channel. If you guys want to help us out as well, obviously you can join for just £1 a month with some other exclusive perks by clicking the join button down below.